Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and we've got the first build of the Scribes of Fate chapter down. I honestly really like this build. It hits hard, and we're going to be updating all of our builds from the last patch because, you know, it's a new patch. We want to come up with some brand new stuff. So guys, I really enjoyed this build. If you guys also like it, please don't forget to subscribe. It is free to do so, and we're almost at that 5K sub mark. So please, just subscribe. It really means the world to me. But guys, this build hits so hard, and I love it. So I hope that you guys enjoy. And without further ado, let's just get on with the video. Alright guys, let's get started. First thing, we're going to look at our character sheet. We're going to be an Imperial on our StamSorc. Imperial, in my opinion, is best in slot as far as the races go because of the reduced cost passive that you get on all of your abilities. And it really helps your overall sustain on this. I really think that it's that extra little bit of tipping point that you need to really sustain well and not really need to use your Dark Deal every 2 seconds. I really like it. If you want to hit maybe a little bit harder on it, I would recommend going Khajiit. But besides that, I think that those are the two best races for this. Our attributes are going to be 22 points into health and 42 points into stamina to give us a nice health pool of 31k basically, a max stam pool of 23.6k, and a max magic pool of 16.5k with a magic recovery lane of 1000 and a stamina lane of 9,952. My god, imagine 9,000 stamina recovery. Imagine that. Anyways, our Mundus is going to be the warrior to increase our weapon damage as much as possible. We're going to be using Orzoka Smoked Bear Haunch as our food to increase our max health by 4,300, our stamina and magic recovery by 369. And if you can't afford this because it's very expensive on PC at least, you can use the Jewels of Miserable food. It's basically the exact same thing. You just lose a 300 max health and you lose 12 magic and stamina recovery. So it's really not that big of a deal. If you're just balling on a budget, this is basically the exact same thing. And then as always, we're going to be Vampire Stage 3 to reduce the amount of damage we take the lower health we are. It is honestly the huge difference between staying alive and dying in a lot of situations for me. And I really recommend it. I can't stress that enough. That Undeath passive is amazing. Our gear is going to break down like this. We're going to have only one piece of a monster set on. It's going to be a one-piece Balorg shoulder in mediums in the Divines trait. And the reason why we're using this is because the one piece gives us an extra little bit of weapon and spell damage, and honestly, that is always phenomenal. Our first set that we're going to use as our 5-piece is going to be Helm of the Fire in the Reinforced trait for our helmet. This is going to give us a line of weapon and spell damage, a line of max stamina, a line of crit chance, and then when you deal damage with a weapon, you deal an additional 3,129 flame damage, and this can occur once every 2 seconds. And that is honestly amazing because Way of the Fire, since that is procced off of your weapon abilities, if you look at this, one of our skills that we're going to be using is Blood Craze, and that has a dot on it. Wave the Fire actually, where is this? Wave the Fire is actually proccing every 2 seconds because of that dot. So that is phenomenal. That's so much extra pressure in a lot of one-on-one situations. I look at my combat metrics afterwards, and Helm of the Fire set is a lot of the times my highest damage on a lot of people. So I definitely recommend this. The amount of sustained damage that you get from this is phenomenal, and I definitely recommend it. Then also we're going to be using a heavy chest of the fire in Reinforced. Our legs are also going to be heavy fire in Reinforced as well, because Reinforced on our heavy pieces always gives us the most amount of armor, and it really helps your resistances. And then as our back bar set, we're going to be using Rallying Cry in the Divine trait. And so this is going to be our back bar set, and this is going to give us crit chance, max magic, another line of crit chance when we're on our back bar, and then while Battle Spirit is active, so basically when you're in either Cyrodiil, Battlegrounds, Imperial City, or in a duel, critically healing yourself or an ally causes you and up to 11 group members within 12 meters to gain 300 weapon and spell damage and an extra 1650 crit resist for 20 seconds. So that is huge, the extra damage that you get, and also the crit resist is massive. There's a lot of crit going on right now, and Rallying Cry helps a lot to mitigate that. So that's why we're in the Divine trait for this, because we don't need any more impen, because that crit resist is already super high. So we're going to be using light hands in Divines. We're going to be using a light Rallying Cry waist and Divines as well. We're also going to be using light rallying cry shoes as well in divines. Then our jewelry is going to be necklace of the fire in the infused trait with a weapon and spell damage glyph on it. And then also our other mythic is going to be Markin in the infused trait with a reduced health, magic, and stamina cost on it. That is going to really help your sustain. I tried it without it, and I really felt like I was dark healing every 2 seconds. And I really recommend using that reduced cost. It was that and the Imperial passive are the only 2 things that I really recommend to go into recovery. Everything else, pure damage. Then our Ring of the Fire is going to be an infused as well, with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it as well. And then our front bar weapons are going to be dual wield Master's Perfected Maces. Our main hand is going to be Nirnhoned with a poison enchant on it. Our offhand is going to be sharpened with a physical damage enchantment on it. Masters is going to increase the damage done with our twin slashes, and I definitely notice it. The damage between that and fire is phenomenal. Then our back bar is going to be a Rallying Cry Ice Staff in defending as always. All right, on to our skills. We're going to be running on our main spammable. We're going to be using Blood Craze. This is going to give us a nice little dot on our enemies, but honestly, the initial damage on this is really good. You're most times going to be hitting this initially, as well as hitting them with your Wave of the Fire proc. So it does a lot of damage between the 2 of them. And then every 2 seconds on this, like I said earlier, it is going to proc the Wave of the Fire damage. So the amount of damage you get from just the bleed and the Wave of the Fire proc, and as well as that, your Master's Dual Wield is going to buff this damage as well. This is a great spammable to use, and I definitely recommend this. I really wouldn't run this any other way. I think Blood Craze is really good for the little bit of heals back as well. I feel like the heals sometimes are a little lacking on StamSorc depending on the situation, and having any heal helps. So I definitely recommend the Blood Craze more for this. We're going to be using Camo Hunter to increase our crit as much as possible. We're going to be getting Major Savagery and Prophecy, increasing our weapon and spell crit by 2,629. And as well as that, if you're dealing damage from the enemy's flank, you're going to get Minor Berserk as well, increasing your damage done. And then Crystal Weapon, you're going to want to combo this with your Blood Craze. If you activate this and then you hit your Light Attack Blood Craze, it is a lot of damage, and it is amazing. The amount of damage on this is so nice, and to be able to weave this with all your other abilities, I definitely recommend this. And then Streak, this is going to be a nice way to disengage from enemies, but as well as catch up to them and use that. And then on top of that, it also stuns anybody as well, and it cannot be blocked. So it is a great CC to use on a lot of your enemies, and it's a great way to combo into your next ability if your enemies are within execute range. If you streak them, if you're a little bit back and you streak right on top of them, you hit your Whirling Blade, which is your next ability, which is going to be your execute on this build, and it cannot be roll dodged either. So this is going to be a great way to secure your kills when your enemies are at low health. I definitely recommend that. And then finally, as our ultimate on our front bar, we're going to be using Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker is an ultimate as old as this game. Everybody knows it at this point. It is a great source of damage. It misses a lot from my experiences. Like, even if I'm standing right in front of somebody, I miss my Dawnbreaker so often. So if you want a little bit more of a guaranteed hit on somebody, maybe use Meteor, but honestly, Dawnbreaker is a lot easier to get as far as the ultimate cost on it, but it also does more guaranteed damage when you're hitting somebody right away, and it's just it being cheaper too is so nice, honestly. But Meteor is such a nice combo to use on a build like this. And then our back bar skills are going to be Crit Surge. This is going to be your source of major brutality and sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20% for 33 seconds. Then also, while active, dealing critical damage heals you for 4,356 health, and that can occur once every 1 second. So if we see on our front bar real quick, our crit percentage is at 35.8%. So we are going to be critting very often, and so that is going to be a great way to keep your heals up. Honestly, your next ability, Hurricane right here, you're going to have a nice little AoE around you. It's going to crit pretty often because, your crit's really high. So that little AoE around you is going to keep your heals up as well. But on top of that, Hurricane is also going to give you Major Resolve and Minor Expedition, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 6k. And then on top of that, also increasing your movement speed by 15% as well. And then Resolving Vigor, this is going to be your main heal over time, healing you for 5 seconds. And then on top of that, it's also going to give you a minor resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k. So you're pretty tanky between your Resolving Vigor. And then on top of that, just having, I love it so much, between your 3k minor resolve right there on Resolving Vigor, and then on your Hurricane right here, your 6k resistances, you're getting 9k between these two skills. You become very tanky with it. Then also Dark Deal, this is going to be a great way to convert your magic into stamina and health. This is going to be a nice, I want to say burst heal, but it feels wrong to call it that. It's just a great sustained source of health and stamina. You're not really using your magic too much on this build. I think you're only using it on Crit Surge and... are we really using magic on anything else? Streak, but, you know, I mean, Streak's nice. It doesn't really cost too much if you only use it once in a while. But honestly, your magic is really plentiful on this build. Use your Dark Deal as much as you want. And then Ally Susceptibility. This is going to be a great way to get your enemies to be really squishy. This puts Major Breach on your enemies for 30 seconds, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 6k. Then also every 7.5 seconds, the enemy is afflicted with burning, chilled, and concussion status effects. So that is a great extra source of damage between those 3 status effects and your Major Breach. This is an amazing skill, and I definitely recommend this. And then Summon Charged Atro. You could use another ability, use something like Undo to give yourself more tankiness. But personally, I absolutely love this ultimate so much. The AoE pressure that you get from it is amazing, especially if you're fighting in like close quarter situation, kind of like in a tower, say on like the back of second floor on a tower. It's a very tight and narrow spot. It is a great way to do damage to multiple enemies, and honestly, do not sleep on that damage. It is very high. I love it so much. I can't stress enough how much this ultimate has saved me in so many situations, and it's not really that big of a deal, but on top of that, it's one of the masses right here. It's one of the passes right here. Right here, increases your health and stamina recovery by 20% when you have a Danger Summoning ability slotted, and this is the only one that we have slotted, so our recovery for our stamina is going to be increased by 20% on our back bar. So I mean, don't sleep on that. That's amazing. And then finally, our champion points, our blue slottables are going to be Focus Mending, Ironclad, Master at Arms, and Deadly Aim. Our red slottables are going to be Pain's Refuge, Sustained by Suffering, Survival Instincts, and Celerity. And then the only things that we really care about in the green tree, as always, are Breakfall, Rationer, and Liquid Efficiency. And that is the entire build, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed. It was really nice to have the first build of the new patch out of the way. I really enjoyed this. This build hits like a truck, and I can't stress how much I really enjoyed playing this the last few days. So guys, let me know what you think of this build if you guys try it out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is free and it helps me out tremendously. We're almost at that 5k sub mark, and honestly, I'm over the moon with the progress that we've made. So if anybody's subbed and you've made it this far, please do so. It is literally the freest form of support that you can give me. Also, if you want to come check out these builds live in action, I try out a lot of builds and not all of them work, but builds like this definitely do work. If you want to see them live in action, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/Sekaar, where I stream 5 days a week. So come check it out. The link will be in the description. But guys, that is it from me. No more talking. I will see you guys on the next video. Later.